find feral cats, apartment complexes, behind grocery stores, fast food restaurants, abandoned buildings, schools, nursing homes, used car lots, people's backyards. So they're everywhere, unfortunately. Feral cats are protected under animal cruelty laws, but that doesn't mean that people don't do things to them, such as the situation with Fox News cats.
They had sought shelter in a fairly overgrown, somewhat wooded area behind the Fox TV station and behind these other local businesses. And the Fox employees had actually erected some small shelters for these cats in that wooded area. We did not find out until after the fact that Critter Control had actually sent an employee in a truck who had trapped 3 of the cats and had killed them in the truck that asphyxiated them with gas.
TNR, or Trap-Neuter-Return, is the process by which feral cats are trapped, sterilized, vaccinated for rabies, and returned to their colony. Operation Catnip is a nonprofit organization that operates a spay-neuter clinic for stray and feral cats once a month. I would go out with my traps, and I use mackerel. You need to put bait in the traps, and then you basically sit and wait. When you catch a cat, you immediately want to cover it up with a towel because it really helps to calm them down. And then I take them back to my house and place them somewhere safe overnight, and then the next morning they get taken to the clinic.
The caretakers come in first thing in the morning, they drop off the traps, they sign in, every cat gets assigned a number, the cage gets an identification number so they have the right trap with the right cat. And then it's basically an assembly line. They go get weighed and they get a card that's going to follow them throughout the process so that we make sure that we have the right cat. Then they're going to go into anesthesia, we do an injectable anesthetic on them, and they get a complete physical exam.
There you go.
Once they are under anesthesia, we never handle cats if they're awake or waking up, just because they're potentially like wild animals, some of them.
So cute. Oh, if he was awake, he'd be so mad that he's getting hugged.
They're going to go get their bladder expressed because otherwise they're urinating in recovery and it's harder to do a spay. They get a shot of penicillin, they get a clamp on their ear because every cat that comes through here has to get an ear tip in case they're ever caught again. And then the girls will go get tied down onto a spay board that they're going to be carried through the clinic on. Boys will just go get prepped. And then we have all the doctors are waiting in surgery.
Okay, where do you want her, Dr. Green?
And they just bring them to us, we spay neuter them, and somebody takes them then to get their rabies certificate, and then they're in recovery. Every single cat is monitored every second that it's under anesthesia by one of the volunteers.
I'm not tripping over them.
As soon as they wake up, you want to have the trap, or as they're coming awake, you want to have the trap available. The cats need to recover overnight in the traps, and then they get released the next day back to their colony. And the best part is, at the end of the day, you see immediate results from your work because you know those cats will never reproduce again, and they'll lead healthier lives. Some of the complaints that people have that go away is the fighting between males, the sounds of mating, roaming. Those things all get under control via the sterilization, and the colony will just the colony will die off over time.
They mowed down the area of growth and where the shelters had been constructed and destroyed them, and destroyed the shelter that the cats had there. So the cats, however, have continued to live behind the other businesses surrounding that block, and we have regularly engaged in trap-neuter-return and care for that colony of cats.
There's a phenomenon called the vacuum effect, and it's documented not only with feral cats but other species across the world, that if you take a feral colony out, more cats will move in and to benefit from the food, shelter, and water, whether it's provided or not. And so when you trap and remove, basically you're creating space for more cats to move in.
These are still, animals. And it's not their fault that they're out there. Human beings have released these cats and not gotten them spayed and neutered, and that's where this whole problem started, and that's why it continues.
Again, it's not the cat's fault that they're in the situation they're in, it's the human's fault, and we need the human understanding. We need to educate the humans.
They deserve a chance. They don't, they didn't ask to be in the situation they're in, just like people. They need somebody to look after them.
How's everybody here? Good. Oh, baby, you got some eye stuff going on. Oh. Now see, here's a good example of a feral that needs some help. This one has an eye infection. So they'll give it a shot of antibiotics, and hopefully they'll talk to the caretaker when the caretaker comes back to see if this is a cat that can be handled, and if it is, we'll give them Clavamox and eye drops, and because that can get really bad really quick. If you have a cat that's used to living a natural life, and you can allow that cat to continue living a natural life, but without letting the population grow, then I think that that's an ultimate situation. I believe that if we can't live in harmony with our neighbor, regardless of whether it's a person, a cat, a dog, or a bird, then what does that say about us? So let's control the numbers. Let's provide them with what they need to live a happy, healthy life and live with each other.